This is AndyTube. In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove all the covers and faceplate off of Genie, a Singer Model 353. And I'm going to put down in the description below the start time for each cover, so if you ever need to come back and you know, to remind yourself how to do it, you can look in the description and for the cover you want to remove, and just go right to that part. Okay, so the covers that I'm going to be taking off in this video are the face plate, this part right here, the rear cover, which is all this molded covering back here, and that includes the curve up here on the top and the handle. Okay, and then the bed bottom cover down there where the rubber feet, the bed feet are, like that. And then we'll be taking off the control panel. A little colorful strip right through there comes off separately. And then finally the front cover here. Okay, so let's get started here with this face plate, and it's very easy. It's just this one screw right down here towards the bottom of the face plate. All these screws come off by turning counterclockwise or to the left. Some of the screws are similar and some are different. So if you do take, you know, when you do take them off, I would suggest that you keep them separate with the cover. And I know on like the rear cover, the different size screw goes in different places, and that's easy to forget and have a hard time when you're going to put it back together. But this one is just a single cover. Once you get that screw out, you just push down on the plate like that, and it's going to come right out. Next, we're going to do the rear cover, so let me get set up for that, and then we'll do the rear cover. For the rear cover here, there's 6 screws. It's not as bad as it sounds though, but I'm just going to tilt the machine up on my block of wood here to give a little better view of this first one here. It's right up here under the corner of the R in Singer. Okay. Yeah, you can see a little tab of that plastic cover sticks out there, and that's where this screw is. Now, these different screws are the ones that can be different sizes and different lengths. So, if you want to like make a little sketch of the cover on a piece of paper and then set the screws on your sketch where they go, so that you don't get them mixed up. I know the very first time I was figuring this out, I just threw all of the screws in a little plastic cup, and then when it was time to put it back together, I couldn't really remember what screw went where, so it took some extra time. Because I'm tilting the machine back, this one doesn't want to come out. Oh, that's kind of hung up in there. I'll show you that in a second. The second screw here is kind of hidden behind the pressure bar lifter lever. Okay, so when you're taking this cover off or putting it back on, just lift that lever up here. Okay, and you see that first screw that I didn't show you because I dropped it inside. It's chrome, you know, it's a high polished screw up there, and this one is a black metal screw. See if I can set this down, if you can still get a good view of it there. Yeah, see if I can get this one out a little bit better without dropping it. I'm kind of standing behind the tripod for my camera and reaching around everything here to try and get a good view of it. There we go. So that's number 2. Number 3 is down here at the base of the upright. It's a chrome covered high polish screw. Now the 4th screw is back here, down below the hand wheel and next to the terminal, the wire terminal, right here. And it's a chrome polish screw. Now the last 2 are up here at the top. Make sure I can get this in here properly. Sometimes these screws will come out of the plastic. Sometimes you just loosen them and they stay in the plastic cover. But they're behind the handle, behind the handhold up here. See, one there and one there. So if they're in there tight, sometimes you can get them started with a little jerking motion. Be sure your screwdriver's in real good and give it a sharp little, like that, to kind of get them loose in the plastic, and then they'll come out easier. Now I hear this one come to a certain point and click. So it's got maybe a washer system or bracket system that's keeping that in there. So don't panic with that. Some of them I did have that, like this one, and some have not. So now when you get these 2 screws loose, see, I can just keep turning it and it doesn't come farther out. Okay. Even though it's got the handle on it here, you have to slide it off the back. So when I'm facing it on the back like this, I'm going to be sliding it towards me. And you know, don't worry, the periscoping spool pin and bobbin winder and the tension bracket, that's all built into the cover. So just don't worry about that, and just pull this cover off towards you. I have to remember, I still have a screw down here someplace that went in the machine. Here it comes. Oops, there's the little screw. So that was screw number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this has started coming off now. There we go. Let me push this back so I can make a little room here, and I can show you the whole cover maybe better, how it comes off. See, and the screws are, whoop, that one came out. Okay, how about this other one? Oh, these 2 came out now. Okay. These are easy to remember that they're for the handle because they have a point on the end of the screw. Both of them do. Alright. Maybe because I pulled it off the machine. Let me show you the inside of this now. You can see up here, there's the bottom of the spool pin. Here's the little bobbin winder system. Here's the tension bracket for the bobbin winder thread, and this is a heavy kind of a I don't know, kind of rubberized material for sound deadening. That's what covers the motor area here, and I'm sure that's to help cut down on noise. I don't think that motor would be that hot. We'll find out though. But the reason you pull it off is that the handle, there you can see where the screws go in here, right? So let me turn it around. When you're lifting up that handle, this handle is really built in with this steel bracket here, so it carries the weight of the machine. And this part of the handle slips into a couple of steel clips on the top of the machine that I'm going to show you. And that is why when you take this off, you can't lift it up, because the handle bracket is engaged with the clips. And that's why you have to slide it towards you 3 or 4 inches to get the handle out of the clips, and then you can take it away. Now let me bring the machine over and tilt it. I'm going to show you those clips I'm talking about. So this bracket up here is all steel, it's screwed in, and here's the 2 clips right here, 1 and 2, and that's what that handle bracket slides in back here underneath those, so that when you are lifting the machine by the handle, it's really lifting up on this piece of steel right here, not the plastic handle. Okay, let me set up for the next cover. Okay, I put down the towel back there, and I laid the machine on its back side. See, so there's the front. I got my old towel back there to protect it. And then we're going to take off these 4 screws. And this is called the bed bottom cover. The sewing bed up here, bed bottom cover. Okay, and it's just these 4 screws. And if these are ones that can be in there pretty tight, just like on the old metal machines, and they might have had a little rusty or moisture from being exposed because they're outside the case. So if you have to jerk them to start them, don't be surprised. Just try turning them, and you know, they might just slip right out. The feet maybe are going to come with it. I'm going to have to see if anybody sells these bottom feet, because these are kind of crusty and dried up. Some much more than the other. But let me show you what the screw looks like there. Okay, so we got the one. Let me go get these real quick. And then I'm pretty sure the cover just slips right off the bottom here. I don't know what this green stuff around this one is. I see it's all, I don't know, can you see that? It's all green and something in there. I'm assuming some liquid got on there at some point. But the screw looks good. These screws haven't been rusty so far. Okay, so I'm going to snap this one a little. There we go. Didn't quite want to loosen too easily. Alright, so there's our bed bottom cover. Now let's see if I can just reach under here. Yeah, look, it's just going to come right on. So now we got access to the bottom of the machine for lubricating it, cleaning it, changing the belt. You'd have to work down here to set the timing, all of which I'll be showing you later. I got some little lint balls down in here. You see this same type of material that was on the cover for by the motor housing is on here. This helps make this nice and sturdy. This is one of the better plastic bases I've seen. It's fairly thick and sturdy. It's got this glued down in here, so that'll be easy to clean that. See what we can see over here. The Singer Company, made in France. It's got some Underwriters Laboratory. Volts 120 amps. Can't quite make that out if that's a 0.95, which would be about right, about 1 amp. There's a serial number of some kind here. Alright. And then, like I said, you see the timing belt and the feed lifter, feed rock, bottom of the hook, the bottom of the forked feed connection here, stuff like that. Let me set it up and we'll take off the next cover. Alright, I'm going to take out this control panel now. This is like a clear plastic acrylic with kind of a paper backing here for this. And to do this, we've actually have to remove this little tension unit here, because it goes right through a hole. And to remove the tension unit, there's a couple of things you've got to do here behind that control panel. And so I'm hoping you'll be able to see this piece right. I'm blocking it a little. Let me try this. Right here. Let me get my pointer here. Right on the end of this little silver bracket is a little piece called the tension regulating slide plate spring. So this is the tension regulating slide plate. When you turn that tension wheel in the front, that's what adjusts how much tension is on this unit, including no tension for darning. And there's a little pin coming through the unit, a tension release pin, and it's held to that bracket by a little clip. And I suggest that you take a picture of that clip before you take it off, so that when you go to put it back on, you'll say, oh yeah, that's how it goes. Okay, now some guys are able to slide it part of the way off and get that pin out and take the tension unit out through the front and not and then push the spring back on that silver bracket. So if you think you can do that, try that. I've never had much luck, but I'm just gonna, if you have a fingernail, you can just slip it right off. I'm just gonna grab it gently with pliers and pull it straight out, so you can see what it looks like. That little fork goes above and below the pin, and then the front of the spring is curled back on itself, and that's what slides on the edge of that silver bracket. So when you take this off later, you could put this back on if you want, but I'm just in the habit of keeping it with the tension unit parts, because I usually take this off anyway to clean it and so forth. So I just clean the spring at the same time. So that's the first step, okay, is to remove the tension regulating slide plate spring. Now next to it you've got this black bracket, and it's got a like a set screw right here that goes in and holds the tension unit into that black bracket. A little tiny set screw right there. Let me look down behind my camera and see if you're able to see. Maybe if I can get some light up here. See that? Let's see, get this out of the way. Right there is that set screw. So when you're at the end of the machine looking at it like me, you're just looking right onto that set screw. Okay? So you want to loosen that so that you're able to pull the tension unit right out the front. So let me get a little screwdriver here and see if I can go in here and get on that set screw. And it's tight. Wow, that is tight. Oh. Okay, I'm worried about stripping that. So let me see if any of my Chapman blades are small enough to get in there. I don't know. Some of them are pretty small though. We'll see. That little dinky one. Because it's that hollow ground, so it's less likely to strip out that set screw head. Oh, that fits. Okay, let me see, what size is this tip? 88, 38, 88. Looks like 88. So let's use this. I'm more confident of getting that set screw loosened without damaging it. Okay, let's get this up here where I can work on it again. Push in hard and turn. There we go. One turn. 2 full turns should be more than enough. Now let's see if I can gently pull this guy out of here now. Is it going to come out? There it goes. Just a little twisty to free it up. And it came right out. I'll be doing a video about that later. So there, and so I get some light over here, maybe another shot of this pin. Anyway, I'll just keep those together. Now that I got that out, now I should be able to take off this control panel. Now you see that the tension adjusting dial sticks out of that panel, so I'm just going to kind of pull it away from the machine, and then when I'm past this dial I'm going to pull it to the left because it looks like it tucks in over here. There we go. So there's the back, and I don't know, maybe that's painted on the back there. I thought it was just a piece of paper, but maybe it's a decal. It kind of feels textured on the back here, so it must be a decal. So I won't be using Crud Cutter to clean that. If I want to clean that, I'm just going to clean it with like dish soap. There's a little crack in it up here, I see. Looks like a little crack. Okay, let me set up for this last plate here. This last cover is the front cover. Okay, now to take this front cover off, if you want to take this off, see, and it goes halfway around the back side, right? You have to take the other covers off, right, to get to this point. So that's why I wanted to show all of those coming off here. And we're just going to start down here. There's a screw right down here on the nose. 1, 2, 3. I see this plastic's cracked. Somebody put it on too hard. Then 4 on this tab down here. And then the one on the back side I just showed you. So let's take a look at these. And I don't remember if these are all the same size or different. So you may want to make a little sketch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the corner, and mark your screws the same. Let's take a look here. But this there we go. That one was not over tightened. I don't know if this well, I'll wait till I get up there to talk about that. Let's just go ahead and get the screw out and see what it looks like and what size it is and so forth. Okay, it's the black metal. It's got a real flat pan head and a real shallow groove to put your screwdriver in. So that's number 1. Let's come up here to number 2 and see. Let's compare these two. So the first one I took out is on the left, and this one is on the right. You see they're a little bit different color. This is black and this is more like a gray. The gray's head is a little bit bigger around. And let's look at the screw end themselves. Yeah, this is a lot thicker. So you're going to have to keep track of these as to how they're going to go back in. Now let's go over to this one, because I noticed, remember I showed you the panel? The control panel was cracked. What did I do with that? See, and it goes up like that. Just barely a little crack up in this corner. You probably didn't even notice it. I didn't notice it before. Maybe it's covered by the other cover. Huh. But when I took it off, then you can clearly see that this tab here is cracked. And that's from over tightening. So somebody got in here. If it's ever been serviced, I would say the serviceman did that. If we get in there and it looks like it's never been serviced inside, like motor belt, you know, or any grease on the gear or something, then it might have been that way from the factory all these years. But let's take that screw out, and we'll take a look and see what happens if that plastic tab falls off. The broken piece, I think it is going to, but we'll see. Now this screw looks gray like screw number 2. Whoop. Yep. Okay, let's look at this. So this one is screw 2 and this is 3. and they're the same. So 2 and 3 are interchangeable. Here's the little piece of plastic that fell off right there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put that back together, that plastic, or not. That's a shame. It was still sturdy, but it's definitely broke, and here's a little tiny chunk that fell out between the 2 pieces. So let me put this in a safe place over here, and I'll have to see about that. Looks like there's another little piece behind it here too that, yep, just fell on the ground. Okay. So, let me put a block under here. Let's see, that's the first 3. Now there's this, there's this screw down here that we're going to take off. Oh, that one's practically loose. That was nothing to take out. It's a gray metal, and it looks a little thicker than screw 2 and 3. Isn't that funny? The screw itself looks like a bigger diameter. So that's why I always make a sketch, and I'll number them. I'll even put them in little tiny plastic bags. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I know to put them back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. But let's go around to the end here. And we got one more right here, right in the center of the back. Oh, look at that cute little motor belt. Cog motor belt. Okay, sorry, different video. Let's get this last screw out of here. Oh, that was super easy too. That was not really tightened up very firmly. Maybe after the service guy cracked that one piece of plastic, he under-tightened everything after that. I think I'm going to leave that in. There's something about, I remember you loosen this like 2 turns, but it goes way back by the motor here, so you don't want to take the whole thing out, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm just going to give that screw a couple of good turns, but leave it there. And then the other part of this that will help get this off is you take your stitch length lever and you move it all the way up as high as it will go. Okay? And then don't forget you have your little reverse, button here. But now this cover should just pull straight off, like you pull the back one straight off without lifting. This one should just kind of pull away from the machine now. There we go. Okay, let me put the machine back here, back out of the way, and make a little room here so we can see this cover nicely. So there's my broken earpiece I'll have to see about. And then the other plastic tabs look good. And this one, see, isn't a full circle off the back side of the machine by the motor. That's why when you loosen that last one just a couple turns, then when you pull it off, it'll just slide right out. Let's take a look at the back side of this. Not too dirty, not too bad. It'll clean up easily. But you see how it's a lot more of an ivory or cream color inside than the outside is this yellowish now. That's what I meant about the ultraviolet. Okay, that's it for all the covers. And I want to show you that last one I took off. Well, I said it goes back by the motor here. See, there's like a little plastic spacer. Okay, and it's got like a washer behind it, and then it screws right into part of the motor mount bracket, kind of. So there's really no need to take this all the way out. So Singer recommends you don't, but I'm going to take it out and put it in a little baby Ziploc because I want to clean it. See, there's a little skinny washer. Man, it's like, whew, it's skinny. And then you got this plastic spacer that's a little bit more narrow up by the screw head, and then it broadens out as it gets back towards that towards the machine there, and it screws in right to the aluminum frame up above the motor bracket. Okay, so you can just leave that in if you want, but like I said, I'm going to take it out even at the risk of losing that little skinny washer. Whew. But that is it for removing all the covers on a Singer Model 353, and the 354 should be the same. Okay, so now we can do whatever we want: cleaning, servicing, replacing parts, lubricating, and so forth. Okay, but we need to get those covers off to do some of that, and so that I can show you some of the stuff. Thanks for tuning in to the cover removal of Benny, the Singer Model 353 Genie machine. I hope you come back and visit again. Take care.